What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Cam ATL. Shout out to the DFS squad. We have been killing it. The NFL lineup ended up doing very, very well. So did the NBA lineup. We should have all cashed in that as well. NFL, man, if Matt Moore wouldn't have turned the ball over so many goddamn times and he would have actually put the shit in the end zone a couple more times, we would all be like fucking retired and living in fucking Hawaii right now. So it's tough. Shit like that happens, man. Matt Moore did okay, though. He did pretty much what I expected, honestly. I expected a few more points out of him, but it was good enough because we had Le'Veon Bell do what he was expected to do, and Jarvis Landry went off. The only player that I missed in here is Randall Cobb. We should have made sure we found a way to get Randall in, but I didn't expect him to do well, seeing he was coming off injury. Plus, he's kind of streaky. Plus, we didn't know in advance that Jordy was going to leave the game and leave so many passes open to him. So it is what it is. Guys, the DFS, first of all, we hit 500 subs today, man. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys talk to me all day long. I do nothing but chat with you guys on Twitter all day long. And so I made sure I got the shirts ready. I will have a link in the description for you to go get the DFS squad takeover shirts that I have ready to go right now. You can get them for $15 right now. The cutoff is January 15th is when the cutoff will be. I have 50 shirts available. So make sure you go and get them right now before they're all out and be a part of the movement, man. You got to make sure you catch the wave. Make sure you comment down below any questions or concerns after this video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and get one of those DFS squad shirts, man, before it's too late. I will post more after these are all gone. I will make more, and I will make more available. I just don't know when. So make sure you take advantage of the 50 that are available right now for the 500 sub special. And make sure you take advantage of that $15 price. And let's get it. All right, let's get right into this lineup, guys. Like I said, also, the DFS squad shirt link will be in the description. And I will also be tweeting it constantly on my page. You can find it in the bio on my Twitter as well, at Fantasy Houdini, Houdini. Now, let's get straight into it, guys. Now, we've got a 3-game slate at 6:30, and then we have a couple more games later on. I'm going to touch on the 3-game slate, guys. I hate when they spread it out like that and do separate slates. They should have just made it one. I don't understand why they do that. It's aggravating, which is exactly why I didn't do a video for today's, because when you got so many slates spread out like that and so few games in each one, it's just hard to I mean, even if you get a good lineup, you're going to split with 20, 30 people. And it's just pointless. It's stupid. So I still play them, but there was no reason to make a video over 2 games in each slate. It was just too much to do, too much to deal with. Like, don't even bother yourself with slates like that. But I will do this one, 3-game slate tomorrow at 6:30. Let's get right into it. Now, we got Russell Westbrook against Chicago. As you guys know, Rondo is no longer starting. Michael Carter-Williams is the starter. And Michael Carter-Williams is quite possibly the worst defender in the league, okay? Not only is he the worst defender in the league, he gives the ball up a lot. He turns the ball over. So who's going to get the ball from him? Russell Westbrook. Now, after I say all that, his price tag is $13,000. Now, the reason his price tag is that high because they realize that matchup is juicy, and they're in Chicago, so it's going to be a very close game, and it's probably going to be high scoring. Okay, but $13,000 is hard to deal with, man. That's a hard price to really have to come out of your pocket for when you only have $50,000 total. So let's go through all this. If we have the chance to get Russell, we definitely will. If we find some bargain deals, we're going to make sure we get him in because Russell's going to be by far the best play. He will probably get 70 to 80 points, which is very, very nice. But that price tag is scary, all right? So now, Drew Holiday against New York. The last time I played Drew Holiday, he let us down. He only got us like 24 points against Atlanta, which makes no sense. Atlanta gives up a shit ton of points to point guards. And this is in New York. So, honestly, out of the two, I prefer Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose is $800 cheaper. And he's at the Garden at home. And I believe the last game they played was also at home. Here, I'll double check. Actually, no, their last game was in Indiana, so that's fine. So they're back in the Garden against New Orleans, who gives up a lot of points to point guards. That's a great matchup, all right? Deron Williams against Minnesota is also a great matchup. But the problem is, guys, the reason I don't really talk much about Dallas players is because they really aren't high scoring. I mean, they don't put many points up on the board. And really, you want to be a part of those games that is going to have the most points scored, and you want to be a part of those. You don't really want to fuck with the games that aren't going to have a ton of points on the board. So, this OKC-Chicago game, you want to make sure you get involved. The New Orleans-New York game, I feel like you want to get involved, okay? You want to make sure you get involved in those two games predominantly. You want to try to stay away from the Dallas-Minnesota game as much as possible. The only possible way I would consider getting those guys would possibly be like Karl Anthony Towns or something like that, or maybe Wiggins. Okay, I can see you getting one of those two guys, but other than that, I would steer clear. So let's go DRose, guys. Like I said earlier, great matchup against New Orleans, and he's back in the Garden. So I really like that matchup. Now, Jimmy Butler against OKC, guys, that is a great matchup. Like I said, this point total is going to be very high, as on top of that, he's been playing very well lately, and he's in Chicago. Let's go ahead and put Jimmy in. I'm not going to waste time and go through everybody when it's obvious that Jimmy needs to be in there, okay? Carmelo Anthony against New Orleans. Now, this is a good play because New Orleans doesn't have a small forward that can really hold him, okay? New Orleans has Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis will not be on Carmelo. So pretty much, Anthony Davis, when you're playing against New Orleans, okay, the guards and the small forwards can tear New Orleans up. They normally do very, very well because Anthony Davis holds the inside pretty well, okay? Centers do well against New Orleans too. But power forwards Anthony Davis is one of the better defenders down low in the league, okay? So I see Carmelo and Rose doing very well in a high-scoring game, like I said, in the Garden, okay? But if you can stay with the OKC, like, trust me, guys, stack the OKC-Chicago game, okay? Make sure you stack that game. Now, Wiggins against Dallas, like I said, guys, is a good matchup. He has been doing pretty well as of late. He gets tons of minutes. And they're in Minnesota. I mean, I like it, man. He had a kind of a down day last game. He got 28.3. That's not what you would want out of Wiggins, especially for his price tag. Usually, you kind of want him to get about 35 to 40 would be the range I would expect for that. Dallas is not good against small forwards. I mean, they have Harrison Barnes, but Harrison Barnes is not known for his defense. Honestly, he's not that great. Andrew Wiggins is a good play in that game, guys. Harrison Barnes against Minnesota is a good play, guys. That is a good play as well, all right? But he's in Minnesota. But that doesn't really deter me too much. Now, I'm going to put Carmelo in, guys. All right, so now we have DRose, Jimmy, and Carmelo. So we've got three major stars. We're going to have to go cheap somewhere. Let's go ahead and start with center real quick. Let's go down and see what cheap options we have at center. Now, Terrence Jones, when he gets his opportunity, he does very well. Against New York, I don't see him getting many minutes, man. I really don't. Look at the last game, he got 16 minutes, guys. He's very streaky. If something happens last minute and Anthony Davis is out, it is a must start. Terrence Jones, when Anthony Davis is out, you have got to make sure Terrence Jones is in. Terrence Jones would start on any other team in the NBA. He's that good. When he has gotten his opportunity, he literally is a beast. Double-double machine. He is the man, okay? So you got to make sure you have him in if something was to happen to Anthony Davis. But if Anthony Davis is okay, and they don't announce that Terrence Jones is starting somehow, then leave Terrence on the bench, man. Let other people make that mistake. Leave him there, okay? Joakim Noah against New Orleans. Like I said, New Orleans gives up a lot to centers, okay? But the last time they played New Orleans, he only played 16 minutes and got him like 16 fantasy points, which isn't too good. And he's very up and down. He has games where he'll go off for 43. He has the potential to get 40+. But he also has the potential to get you literally a dud. And I really hate going with people who could do that to me. Now, Enes Kanter against Chicago is a good play. Chicago is not good on the boards, guys. They have Robin Lopez, who is not very good on the boards, honestly. He's decent, but he's just not good. People take advantage of them down low. I like Enes Kanter, but the thing is, figuring out who's going to have the bigger game between Steven Adams and Kanter is a battle. A lot of nights, you'll think, oh, it's going to be a Kanter night. It ends up being an Adams night. You think, oh, it's going to be an Adams night. It ends up being a Kanter night. So it's really hard to understand which way to go there. Like I said, in this Dallas-Minnesota game, a very good play is Karl Anthony Towns down low. I really like that play. But he's pretty up there in price. Now, let's go down here, guys, to Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell's been playing well, even on limited minutes, okay? But really, you can't really play him unless they announce that Dirk is going to sit or something like that. Go ahead and keep Dwight Powell on the bench as well. Now, I like Taj Gibson against OKC, guys. It's a good matchup, and like I said, you want to be involved in this game, okay? This is the most important game that you want to get as many players as you can in, okay? With it being a 3-game slate, you really want to stack this game. This OKC-Chicago game is going to be the highest scoring game on the slate, okay? And the more points scored in the game, the more points for our fantasy players and the more points our guys put up. I mean, it's just, it's simple. You know what I'm saying? It's just common sense. You got to get involved in this game. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put Taj Gibson in, man. Now, at power forward, and another plus for Taj Gibson is he's only $4,600. That's a very good price for him, guys. Now, at power forward, let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's a tough decision, man. It's a really tough decision when it comes to these guys because we really got to go as cheap as possible. I do not like Porzingis against New Orleans. That's a tough matchup for him. Like I said, Harrison Barnes could do well against Minnesota. They do have Dang, who is decent down low, but I mean, Dallas is going to have to score somehow. I do see it being the guards of Dallas being able to score on Minnesota a little easier than the guys down low. But yeah, Dang against Dallas is a good play for 5,700, and he plays a shit ton of minutes. So let's go ahead and get Dang in that lineup, man. Now we've got 17,400 left. This is exactly what we wanted. This is a perfect spot to be in. At 17,400, we can go pretty big on the next one. Now, because we're not going to be able to fit Russell Westbrook in, I mean, he's just crazy expensive, okay? I suggest going Victor Oladipo against Chicago. All right, it's a great matchup, and he's involved in that game. You want to be involved in that game, guys. Now, we have to somehow work out another forward, which is hard to do because the forwards in this slate are pretty weak, okay? Dirk's been coming on strong, and he has a decent matchup against Minnesota, but like I said, they have Dang and Karl Anthony Towns down low. They're both really good in the paint. It's going to be tough. Mirotic against OKC. That's a decent matchup. He's been getting good minutes. Let's put him in. I like it. Now, see how much we're stacking on that OKC game? That is very smart. Make sure you get people involved in this OKC game, guys. Make sure you do it, whether it's Steven Adams or Cantor. If you can decide which one, they bother me too much to be able to, like, I hate having to choose between the two. I honestly, I think it's going to be a Steven Adams. I think if you're going to go either one, I would go Steven Adams in this game. Because, like I said, high scoring, pretty fast-paced. In those situations, Steven Adams is good because he runs the court very well. So I would go Steven Adams in that situation. Now, for our remaining 6,400, we can get Steven Adams. We can get Dwayne Wade or Harrison Barnes. Or we could get Darren Williams against Minnesota. Like I said, the guards should be able to score on Minnesota pretty well, but I'm not a big fan of Darren Williams, man. He's very streaky. He's very up and down. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of Darren Williams, guys, against Minnesota in Minnesota. I'm not a fan, okay? Now, Steven Adams against Chicago. This is a great matchup. He's actually been getting very good minutes lately. And like I said, you want to stack it. And I just told you guys, go Steven Adams if you're going to go one of the two. Now, I'm really liking this matchup, guys. I threw it together with you guys. Like I said, like I do every day on my Twitter account, which is something you must, if you love DFS and you fucking look for advice all day long, following my Twitter at Fantasy Houdini, Houdini is the way to go. I answer everybody immediately. Nobody else in this DFS community will answer you as much as I will, and if I'm not able to answer you immediately, somebody else related to the DFS squad will respond to you. It always happens. We're all there. It's all good. Make sure you follow me if you have any questions. Also, comment down below questions and concerns. Make sure you get this video up to 50 plus likes. And once again, guys, thank you so much for getting me to 500 subs so quickly, guys. We're going up super, super quick. We are definitely one of the more popular DFS groups in the fucking community, period. Nobody's as active as us when it comes to talking about this stuff. We're going hard right now, and it's amazing. Make sure you get the DFS shirts, the DFS squad shirts, man, the takeover shirts. They're fucking super slick looking. They're black with the white lettering. Make sure you get them. They're only $15 now, and I only have 50 available. Make sure you get them. These are like the limited edition versions pretty much. Like the next versions that I make will not look like this. So make sure you get these. These are like, there's 50 available. Go ahead and get onto them now. Only $15. They will all be shipping out on January 15th. Okay, that's how it works. It's like it's how the site works. Okay, so on January 15th, all of them will be shipped out. Make sure, like I said, there's going to be a high demand for them because DFS Squad is growing so quickly. So a lot of people are going to be going to get them. So make sure if you want one of those shirts, it's only $15. Go to the link either in my bio on my Twitter account at Fantasy Houdini, Houdini, or make sure you go look in the description on the video and click the link in the description on the video, all right? So I appreciate you guys once again. Go get those DFS Squad shirts. Let's turn up. Let's keep it going, and I'm out.